Hello everyone. Welcome to a new Shogunet video interview. In this occasion, we try to bring some valuable insights into the esports betting platforms and the whole market, which is booming these days and has been doing that since the pandemic broke out. So for that, we'll be taking a look and having the voice from one of the most interesting cases, which is Luckbox, one of the companies that became public recently and one of the first ones to do so in this sector. So for that, we're joined today by its CEO, Quentin Martin. So hello, Quentin, welcome, and thanks for having some time for us today.
Hi, Juan, thanks very much. Pleasure to be here.
Great, sure. Well, we all saw that Luckbox reported an outstanding growth last year. It was a 500% increase year over year. So maybe we can start with that. If you can explain which were the driving factors involved in this growth, and maybe your outlooks and challenges to keep this in at a similar level in 2021.
Sure. So, there were a couple of key drivers to that. One was being in the right place at the right time with the right product. We just come out of soft launch. We're starting to get ready to spend a little bit. And then the pandemic hit. Traditional sports was cancelled for about half a year. And really the interest just accelerated. So the whole, almost all esports transitioned online, fully digital. And that was just the beginning of a fantastic roller coaster for us. Obviously, as well, we were really early on in our days, so that's 500% off not that large a number. So, to temper expectations a little bit there. That said, if you look at all the indications out there, whether they're Twitch viewing figures or all the industry metrics that I'm seeing, all show the same thing, that the pandemic has accelerated esports maybe 2-3 years into the future, and that growth has been sustained as traditional sports has come back, as some countries have been lucky enough to come out of lockdown. So for us, it's just going to be, we're going to see a year of slow and steady, maybe not even that slow growth going forward, as we just continue to market and invest in our platform.
Right, and maybe in terms of trends and maybe the types of bets and the kinds of games that are showing the best performing activity in terms of esports betting these days, which ones would you like to mention?
Sure. I think the fact that surprises a lot of people is how dominant the big three, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, and Dota 2 are. They, for both us and almost all our competitors, they make up 90+% of the gambling volume in the esports space. And really that shifts just depending on geography and what particular majors are going on at any given time. Obviously, everyone's really excited when new games come onto the stage. So everyone's got an eye on Valorant at the moment. But it's going to take time for those franchises to really make an impact because they don't have the same legacy. Those big three have been around a decade. They've got fans who know the players and the teams and all the history that's going on there. And that's really, really hard to replicate overnight. So I think the surprising trend is just how much those big three dominate and will continue to dominate.
Okay. Well, we can start talking about the most relevant event that you've had these past months, which is going public. I'm sure it was a very challenging task. So maybe you can share with us some your assessment of these first nearly 2 months and the feedback from investors. Anything you can share with us.
Sure. It's been an absolute roller coaster since we decided to go public. We thought that it'd be better to represent our brand, being esports betting done right. We're only the third publicly traded endemic esports betting company globally, and so really better access to capital, ability to use our paper to help do some M&As that we hope to kind of announce later in the year. But it's been a roller coaster. We listed at 42 cents. We're now trading above $1.30. So almost tripling the price in such a short period of time has been fantastic. We also launched a funding round last week, looking to raise 5 million, and just because of overwhelmingly positive interest, we've had to upsize that to 15 million as well. So books will close next week. and that looks like it's given us a lot of fuel to really take Luckbox strongly into the future, more than enough to keep us running in the short term and for our growth strategy, and to fuel that M&A roadmap that I'm hoping one day to be able to tease a little bit more publicly. But and the experience of going public has just been incredible. We've got an excellent shareholder base that just keeps improving over time, and really looking forward to what we can achieve in the coming years.
Sure. Maybe there's some key or focal points that the investments will have a most prominent focus. I mean, the funds that you will be raising in the coming months, where they will be heading particularly.
Sure. So really key milestones for us is scaling. We've been in soft launch for most of our life, and really it's about time now. So we're investing both in our team. So we're quite a small team. Maybe we're 30 a few weeks ago. We're 40 something now, and hopefully we'll be about 60 by the end of the year. But not really much beyond that. That's hopefully as lean as we can keep it. And then really investing into user acquisition. So at least a couple of million spent in acquiring traffic for the rest of the year. And we're expanding. So if you think about the traditional gambling space where you acquire users through low cost per acquisition channels such as lottery, bingo, poker, but primarily traditional sports, and then you cross-sell them between those products, but primarily again to casino because it's 10 to 20 times the lifetime value of a customer. We want to replicate that model, but with our primary acquisition channel being our brand, esports, acquiring the under 40, the Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, millennials who want to gamble. And then to cross-sell them. So we've launched traditional sports betting. So in 80 countries around the world, you can now bet on basically every sport you can think of at Luckbox. And we hope a huge milestone later in the year will be the addition of casino games as well. So I think really that's a lot of what we're focused on at the moment, whilst always adding new payment methods, new different models, and working with we work with influencers, marketing, we boost our social media channels, and to really start scaling that, we've just made, well, I don't know, I've lost track, 3 or 4 fantastic hires. We added just before Christmas, end of last year, Ran Caspi as our Chief Finance Officer. And he's a wealth of experience, 15 years of experience in financial management, most recently as CFO of the Australian Stock Exchange listed company ParaZero, 5 years at the gambling giant 888 prior to that. And he's really helped us prepare for the task of being public. You really have to mature as a business from the quite easy in comparison, certainly being private. And then we added Thomas Rasander, our chief customer officer. He's a phenomenal addition to the team. Like myself, a great fusion of gambling and gaming experience. So he was CEO of the challenger casino brand Dunder that exited successfully recently. He was chief product officer at Mr. Green, a great casino brand, and more recently was also director of business intelligence at both what's now Entain, the gambling business, and Electronic Arts, one of the biggest gaming companies. So you're really bringing a modern and data-driven approach that is really kind of everything that everyone at Luckbox represents. And we've also added a great head of content marketing, Nevzat Ukar from where was he? Riot Games, so for League of Legends and Red Bull, and just everywhere we look, we're just adding superstars to the team to really scale up and face the challenge to become the #1 esports betting destination globally.
Great. Well, there's some relevant tournament that's going on these days until I think until the end of the month, which is the IEM Katowice International, the CS:GO tournament. Well, Luckbox was one of the operators that anticipated some uptick in sports betting activity ahead of the tournament. I don't know if you have some initial feedback or performance that you're able to share with us right now, or maybe what you can expect once the competition ends at the end of the month.
So we've seen some good numbers. Definitely a lot of interest. It's fantastic to have the first true major of the year get underway. It's still ongoing now, so I don't want to comment on how it's doing prematurely, but really strong uptick, and excited to see who's going to be the winner come the weekend. So really highlights to me that esports and betting on esports is really here in 2021. We have a fantastic calendar in the year ahead, and I think it's just going to be, and even the growth from 2020 is just going to continue.
Okay. Just another major news that we've covered at Shoganet was the partnership with EveryMatrix. Maybe you can tell us a little more about what your expectations are from this partnership in terms of the Luckbox approach to major gambling companies, which we had discussed in our previous interview. What does this mean for the company in particular, this partnership?
Sure. So it's a great partnership, and we're really fundamentally looking to increase the average lifetime value of our player. Fundamentally, I think it's about half of Counter-Strike players also enjoy betting on football. So although our brand is still all about esports and acquiring people who really are fans in that space, but we recognize that they're also going to like traditional sports, and that whilst they're on Luckbox, they may as well, for simplicity's sake, do all their betting with us. So already, even though we've only been live for a little while now, seeing some promising early numbers, and we expect the same to happen as and when we add casino later in the year.
Okay. Well, we have covered many topics. One interesting thing that I would like to address today is what's happening in Canada, the single event sports betting legislation. Luckbox already welcomed of course the initiative from the government. But well, maybe you can have more valuable insights into this potential market. What are your estimates and strategies to enter if this actually becomes legal in Canada?
Sure. So this legislation is welcome. I mean, almost everyone I've spoken to says it's almost 100 years out of date. As of today, it's estimated that about 14 billion Canadian is bet every single year on offshore accounts, and so the Canadian government legalizing this will bring better access for the operators. It will provide better quality and user experience for the users in a safer betting environment. And as we're now headquartered in Alberta, we thoroughly welcome this opportunity, and we follow the legislation and hopefully upcoming licenses with eager anticipation. And for me, it's kind of similar to what we saw a few weeks back when Android announced that they were now expanding the number of countries that accept gambling apps. And really, for me, it's just like with PASPA rolling back in 2018 and allowing sports betting on a state level in the US. It's just another sign of the acceptance of sports betting globally. And really, I hope this trend continues.
Very clear. Well, maybe we can finish off with your final reflection about the areas where you see growth potential in the sports betting industry, including now that traditional sports, as compared to 2020, traditional sports will be fully back on the picture. So maybe we can have your final view on this.
So I think Goldman Sachs forecast that 2020 or pre-pandemic forecast that esports betting would have a 44% year-on-year growth. I think we're going to see that exceeded in 2021. I think that the big three games are going to continue to dominate, and we're going to see increased demand for betting products. We're going to see the option to bet on streamers, player-specific markets. Hopefully additional real-time betting. At Luckbox, you can bet on 95, or you can bet on almost every match in the world, more so than any of our competitors. But also, you can watch the stream on 95% plus on both mobile and desktop. And I think you're going to start to see more of the big operators either trying hard to get in it organically, or starting to make acquisitions in the esports betting landscape to kind of shortcut and bring that experience in-house. So I think it's just going to be an incredible year. And at Luckbox, hopefully you're going to see this steady growth going forward, increased revenue, and we've got some cool tricks up our sleeve that we hope to bring to market as and when we can get them out.
I was just thinking when you mentioned that this this survey from Interpret, this recent survey that said that 52% of esports fans are likely to bet on the tournaments. I don't know if this means anything to you. I mean, if it is consistent with your own experience and numbers at Luckbox, but I believe it was a very interesting piece of data to bring to this conversation.
Yeah, look, I'm not at all surprised by this. I think the adoption of betting as a way to enhance your enjoyment of the game is always a little bit more exciting to have some skin in the game, as we've seen with traditional sports. Maybe there's, yes, the fan base. I would never say that a tennis fan is the same as a football fan, but essentially they share the same passion for a particular competitive athletes and competition, and they enjoy betting it. So for me, all the trends that you see in traditional sports will over time translate into esports as well. So the same domination of betting and betting sponsors and enjoyment and increase. What was the stat I was going to out? Really, I'm not at all surprised. We see, about 50-60%, I believe, of people who bet on esports also bet on football. So everywhere you look, you just see this increased adoption, and the average esports enthusiast, 3/4 of them are older than 18, meaning gambling eligible. To put that in perspective, our average bettor is 32. So really, what I see is just we're going to see there's so much growth built into the audience. Every year that goes past, we see it, 5%, 10% increase just in the number of bettors and enthusiasts out there. Not to mention that they're getting older and earning more wealth and whatnot. So for me, there's just so much organic interest and such a large gap to catch up until we've got the same kind of sports betting natural fervor that you get in mature markets like the UK on traditional sports. So for me, it's just another indicator of the growth potential in the industry.
Well, very interesting. Thank you very much, Quentin, for your taking the time to speak in today with Shogunette Gaming News, and we always look forward to catching up with all the news and upcoming challenges that Luckbox is facing now that it's a public company, and with all the esports betting industry just looking to grow in 2021. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Bye.